All right, MIF outdoors. Since I have a minute, and I went out today on Independence Day and did a little bit of shooting, or a lot of shooting. So I got a lot of dirty guns. So I figured while I have it, I will finally do a video on the Springfield XDS 3.3. First off, I'm gonna lock the slide back. Check the chamber. It is empty, visually and physically inspected. It is empty. There is nothing in it. No magazine. Okay. Now, I had an issue. I guess it's not an issue really. I did 100 rounds after I got it. It was pre-owned, but the gentleman who had it said he barely shot it at all. So my guess is that it was still in its break-in period. But here's the story. Firing 100 rounds, I had 4 malfunctions. All 4 malfunctions were a failure to extract. Now, with a break-in period, I could see that being a failure to feed, but a failure to extract I didn't think would be something in a break-in. I did a little, very light picking and filing on the catch part of the extractor itself. Made sure I lubed the extractor, and I hit all my high contact areas really heavy. And I put a lot of rounds through it today. Not a single malfunction. It was perfect, ran great. So I'm hoping it was just something that, you know, there was a little hang up, little bobble with the break-in period. Like I said, I've never really heard of, extractor issues during a break-in period, but maybe this could be a first for me. I don't know. You know, I'm not having any stovepipes, no failure to feeds, no magazine issues. Polished the feed ramp as soon as I got it. So, all right, I'm gonna lock the slide back. I don't have a lot of time. This video is probably gonna close on me. So, let's see, lock the slide back. Okay, here, I'm gonna turn it this way so you can see what I'm doing. The slide's locked back. Here's your takedown lever is right here. You just slide the takedown lever up, straight up and down. Then you pull your slide back, release your slide, and pull the trigger. Your slide is off. Here's your frame. There's your slide. I mean, most polymer frame handguns are pretty much the same. After you do that, you know, sit your slide aside. I always clean inside the slide too. I get inside the mag well and get the sear and everything really good. Make sure I even oil in there a little bit, you know, on top of the trigger and everything, just to keep it good. You know, I think you should take care of every part of the firearm. Every part of the firearm will take care of you. So, you know, just like every other polymer frame handgun, you got your guide rod and your barrel and your slide. Now, this is just a field strip. Of course, you know, you really do want to clean it thoroughly every once in a while, especially when you're going to be putting rounds through it like I just did. I mean, it's inside that slide is, you probably can't see, but it's like black up in here. A lot of carbon residue built up in there, and especially with all that lube that I put on it, like I said, I went a little overboard trying to hit the high contact areas, but I don't know. I mean, it functioned flawlessly today, so that could be why. But yeah, you know, you can take your plunger out, your extractor, you know, your spring and your pin and everything, you know, knocking all these punches out. If you have punches, you knock all these pins out and get all that apart and clean in there, which you do want to do. I'm not going to do because that's very lengthy process, and I'll probably lose something. So, but yeah, I'm not going to clean it now. Just that's a basic breakdown to do it. I am going to clean it here after the video is done, but and then you just put your barrel back in, slide it to the rear. You take your guide rod with the heavy part pointing forward, the fat spring forward, skinny spring back. Put it in there, pop that up and in, and there you go. Then, not like a Glock, which one of the things I love Glock for is how easy it is, but I mean, it's not much harder either. I just am not a big fan of takedown levers. I like the Glock style takedowns. But anyway, you just slide your slide back on all the way to the rear and lock it in place. After you've locked it in place, all you have to do, go to your takedown lever, pop it back down, and there you go. You're good to go. You know the firearm's clear. I already showed it was cleared. I have to dry fire it. I don't want it sitting around like that, ruining my spring. But yeah, I was actually on the verge of getting rid of this just because of the issue with the failure to extract. And that's, you know, to me, that's a big deal. Because, I mean, some of them, you know, I fire one shot and I can't get the next shot off. That's risking your life there, you know, and I don't believe you should ever carry a firearm unless you know that, you know, you're consciously aware your life does depend on it. Your life could very well depend on it, so. But now, you know, it's functioned really well, so. I'm going to continue, put it through its paces, you know, and kind of try to document if I have any more problems. Hopefully that was it. Hopefully it's all fixed. Maybe it could have just been that, you know, picking and light filing of the catch on the extractor. And, you know, like I said, also oiling it. I mean, it could have been that I didn't oil it when I did the rest of the gun before. I did make sure to get some in there last time. So, like I said, really heavy on any of the contact areas, which, you know, that could have been it too. If the firearm wasn't coming back enough, you know, if I didn't have enough lube, it wasn't going all the way to the rear to eject the shell. Maybe it was kind of pulling it out and then putting it back in, and that's why it was happening. Then it'd feed that next round. So didn't really pay that close of attention to it to try to find out what it was. You know, in a situation like that, you got another round behind it and your slide is half locked forward on top of a live round that is behind a spent round. That's not a good situation. But yeah, so make an update if anything happens. If so, we have the same problem. It'll be going out the door. If not though, as of right now, I'd say it's definitely from today. If I had to base it just off of that, yeah, you know, I would trust it. But put a couple hundred more through it, and we'll see what happens.